Alright, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Jackie O's Pub and Brewery, and they are out of Athens, Ohio, and this is their Temple of Minerva, and this is the 2023 release. So this is a blend of Imperial Stouts aged for 23 months in bourbon barrels. It comes in at 13.2% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed. Time of review, believe this bottle is approximately 1 year old, and I picked this one up at Red Wine and Brew in Mentor, Ohio, on a day trip to Ohio back towards the end of 2023. So in the description box, I'll post a link to the beer haul video I did that contains all the goodies that I picked up on said trip. And I picked up a bunch of beers, but 4 of them were barrel-aged beers from Jackie O's, and the first 3 were all good in their own right. This is the final of not only the Jackie O beers, but all of the beers from said beer mail that I am reviewing. Did I save the best for last? Let's hope so. So this is pretty wild. Almost, it's basically a blended barrel-aged Imperial Stout, and it's aged for almost 2 years in the barrels. So that is insane to me. Hopefully, it's quite delicious. So let's crack this one open, get it into the glass, and see what we got going on. So the reason why I say this is approximately 1 year old, 1 years old, is because this was posted on, what was this posted on? August 11th of 2023 that they were releasing it. I'm actually reviewing this one on August 11th of 2024. So there's probably, bottled slightly before that, but whatever. We're gonna drink it today. It's around 1 year old. I'm into it. Let's get a pour here. Oh yeah, it's looking like motor oil. I'll pour this entire thing in because I'm drinking this all tonight. 12.7 fluid ounce bottle as well. Yeah, so it poured out pretty thick to start with, but as I let it pour at the end there, it was more of a like dark brown. So let's see what it looks like in the glass. Yeah, that's pitch black. Well, you're gonna see pitch black. Me, it's a very dark brown because I can see a little bit light coming through the bottom there, just very slightly. Like down here, it looks like more like a root beer or a Coca-Cola or something. But the rest of the beer is straight, black instead of dark brown. But so first things first, there are alcohol sheets, not legs, definitely sheets covering the glass. 13.2%, you kind of expect it. Had about a half finger of this dark brown colored head that looked infinitely creamy, dissipated to a thin film. There is no adjuncts in here, but it is, 13.2%. A lot of times, bigger ABV beers just don't retain the head. But yeah, you can't see through it. It looks exactly how I pictured it looking. So yeah, and this is out of my darker beer fridge at 54 degrees Fahrenheit. So hopefully prime drinking temperature. Let's get a nose. Oh my, what? I don't say this almost ever, and I've only had it I think a couple times in my life. Marzipan. First thing coming in my marzipan. Wow. So if you are not a barrel lover, then stay away from this one. Although I say that a lot of times, I'm thinking to myself, if somebody doesn't like barrel-aged beers and you pick up a beer like this that's aged for 2 years, almost 2 years in bourbon barrels, what are you doing, right? That's not smart. But yeah, the barrel is just fucking screaming. Wow, the barrel is just I like to say peppery bourbon a lot, or a spicy bourbon. It has caramelized sugars, definitely caramel, toffee, maybe a little butterscotch. But there's leather and tobacco, very deep, kind of charred barrel notes in this one. It's very, very prominent. Underneath that, a sweeter, richer dark chocolate. So not like a 40 or 50% cacao bar, but sweeter versions of that, but not quite to a Hershey's special dark. Somewhere in between those. I'm not really getting a lot of roasted malt. I'm getting more like a charred barrel than anything, like I already mentioned. Some nondescript dark fruits, we'll just leave nondescript because I can't really. I could start saying, oh yeah, black cherry or figs or dates. I'm not really getting anything specifically, just a generic dark fruit aroma. Definitely vanilla and oak from the barrel, but it has the vanillins thing, but it's not over the top. Again, this is all about the actual spirit more so than the barrel itself, because it just smells straight on bourbon or whiskey. Very complex, almost smoky, that charred kind of smokiness. It's almost like this was a smoke beer. It smells super decadent, ridiculously rich. It smells fucking divine. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. I'll be goddamn. I'm glad I said smoky. I'm glad I said charred. There is a lingering, charry, kind of smoky quality of this one. This is fucking awesome. Goddamn. I want to kind of sit here and just let my palate take it all in. Listen, Jackie O's makes some fucking fantastic beer. Their barrel game, up there for me, as far as a brewery, period. This is like a step above a lot of their stuff I've had. Like, this is next level for them. Next level for barrel-aged beer in general. What I like about the body is, when it was pouring out to begin with, it definitely looked like really thick and like syrupy. The viscosity looked like it was going to be high. The taste, it is. This is full-bodied, right? But it's not to that Pulpit Rock, WeldWerks Media Noche level where those beers are almost like you're drinking maple syrup, like from a body perspective, like it's so thick and syrupy and just like chewing it. That's not this beer, but it is full-bodied. It is not thin whatsoever, but it's not to that level. So I think it actually helps the drinkability, because those that couple Pulpit Rock beers I had and that Media Noche, those were fun to like sip on and enjoy, but to put down like 12 plus ounces, I'd rather have the body like this, just for a personal preference. If I'm drinking 4 or 5 and splitting a bottle of this, I'd want it to be thicker, but I think it's perfect for what it is. The mouthfeel, good carbonation, approaching moderate carbonation, but it's pretty smooth and creamy on the palate. The taste, I don't even know where to fucking begin. There's so much shit going on in the palate. Like, the complexity is true to roof that where do I start? Okay. Forefront. It's caramelized sugars. Like I said, it's marzipan into toffee and caramel, butterscotch, like all of that. Even a little bit of like just molasses and like sweeter notes in general. Forefront. That's what hits me. So it passes through. I get this, again, generic dark fruit. Not going to specify, just generic dark fruit. Then after that, I get underlying sweet dark chocolate. And as it continues on to the back of the palate, it finishes again with that charred oak, almost smoky quality that is beautiful. It also has a big bourbon presence, front to back, omnipresent. It's spicy, peppery bourbon. Again, it's sweeter. It's about the spirit more so than the barrel. The barrel, I'm getting a little bit of that vanillins. The oak, I think the oak tannin dryness, or the perceived oak tannin dryness, is the thing that really sticks with me from the barrel. It's like some at a full-on dry. This is not really that bitter. This has like a mild to moderate bitterness, but it's very dry. It is a sweet, rich, decadent beer that actually is balanced to some degree, which is quite impressive. Yeah, it's just, it's fucking awesome beer. I will say this, I don't think it's a 5 out of 5 for me, but it's right there. What's keeping it from me giving it a 5 out of 5? Honestly, I think like the typical like malt notes that you would get in a beer like this are kind of like shoved to the wayside. Like, I'm not getting a lot of roasted malt. It's more about the charred, like kind of smoky barrel thing. The chocolate's more underlying in the taste. I'm really not getting any coffee. Your typical, stout-esque malt notes are really kind of missing, and it's like everything else that I love is here. So if there was a little bit more chocolate, maybe a touch of coffee, and maybe more like straight-on roasted malt, or perceived roasted malt, this would be a 5 out of 5. It really would, because it would hit everything that I wanted to hit. There's a little bit of like leather tobacco thing on the. There's so much, like, I don't know if I've ever had a beer as complex as this on the finish. Like, the finish, there's a lot of things going on. Yeah, the finish is just, it's hard to describe. And I know that sounds really stupid coming from someone who's, reviewed over 2,000 beers on YouTube and has had a lot of barrel-aged beers. It's just, this is one of those beers that kind of, I almost wish I didn't review and just sat down. I just sit down with this, crack it open, have it ice cold out of my fridge, and then drink it over two like I'd say an hour and a half, 2 hour period, have it go from, ice cold to room temperature, see how it changes throughout, because I think it's in the perfect prime drinking temperature. It's probably around 55 to 58 degrees Fahrenheit now. It's cool but not cold. I get all the flavors that are coming out of it, but it will definitely change in the next half an hour, 45 minutes. But this is awesome. This is one of the best barrel-aged beers I've had from Jackie O's. Yeah, I gotta slow down because this is a sipper. Oh yeah, 13.2%. Yeah, it's a big beer. But, and you might not believe me, you might be thinking I'm lying, but I don't even get a big warming in my chest. It's like a slight warming. Like just a slight warming in my chest. Nothing on the palate. If I was doing this blind, I would guess under 12%. I might even guess closer to like 10, 10.5. Because the body is, it's an indication of how big this beer is ABV-wise. The nose was so intense and almost like it burned in my nostrils with how big the barrel was. But on the taste, like everything's mellowed out. There's complexity, but it's not like it's a mellow complexity. Best way I can describe this one, it's a mellow complexity, but it's fucking delicious. So Jackie O's does it again. I am very disappointed that I have no more Jackie O's beers and no more Ohio beers in my fridge, which just means before the end of the year, I got to go down to Ohio, whether that's Cleveland or Mentor or whatever, and get some more beers, get some more Jackie O's barrel-aged stuff, maybe hit up a couple breweries in Cleveland, maybe Masthead, maybe Great Lakes, maybe Noble Beast. I don't know, but this is fucking awesome. So, you know what? I am going to give Temple of Minerva from Jackie O's, the 2023 release, mind you, a 4.9 out of 5. So not a 5, but as close as I can possibly get to a 5. Well, I guess 4.99, but I usually do. I guess I would do. I never did a 4.95, but 4.9. This is fucking just, yeah. And I love the art is by Chris Monday, so that's cool. Is that the Temple of Minerva right there? I just went with the generic text just because so you can see what it is. And then again, the year is listed right there. Anyway, price point availability. Most of Jackie O's stuff that I pick up from Ohio, typically $11.99 or $12.99 for a 12.7 fluid ounce bottle, which is 375 milliliters. This was $15.99. Why? Because it's aged for almost 2 years in the barrels and it's blended. I have absolutely zero issues paying that based on what I'm tasting right here. This is fucking phenomenal. So $15.99. Even this was, a couple bucks more, I'd still easily buy it. I'll probably up to $20 I'd buy this. This is a fun beer. And they have a double barrel version where they use two separate, different barrels, not just bourbon barrels. That would be awesome. I did not see that one out, so I would have picked that one up. Maybe if they release it again, like right around this time, I'll have to check their Instagram. I might have to seek out the double barrel version, assuming they release it at the same time every year. I have no idea. I had no idea this beer existed until I saw it. And availability is Jackie O's. I'd imagine something like this probably doesn't get out of Ohio. Maybe they'll randomly show up on like Tavor or something like that. So I don't really know what their distribution. I just know when I go down to Ohio, a lot of beer stores have like their regular year-round seasonal offerings, and then a lot of them will carry their barrel-aged beer. So it's Jackie O's is like the brewery that when I go to Ohio, I seek out because their barrel-aged game is fantastic. Even like their wild ales and their sours, fantastic. Even their year-round and like seasonal releases are good, but this is where they really shine in my opinion. So if you've had this one before or any prior releases or the double barrel version, let me know what you think about it. I think is one of the best barrel-aged beers I've had this year. Definitely one of the best barrel-aged Imperial Stouts I've had, and probably will make my top list for 2024, although, we still got another like 4.5 months to go, but I think that this beer is kind of right in the realm of what I want out of a barrel-aged blended, or bourbon barrel-aged blended Imperial Stout aged for almost 2 years in the barrels. So anyway, it's going to be a longer review like it typically is for a beer like this, because when you give a beer a 4.9 and there's so much shit going on in the beer and I'm at a loss for words for half of the review, you're going to get a 15, 16, 18-minute review, whatever the case may be, and it's worth it. So I'm going to shut this one down. I appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.